What it do, man? This is your boy, man, North End Floyd, with another episode on the Kickback podcast. This is episode 131. And, we're going to be talking about is being single more fun than being in love? Because, we see a lot of people out there, we see a lot of posts and they turning up and they doing their thing. And, it seems like they having a good time. And you don't see too many couples out there posting their business. Not that they should, you know what I'm saying? If they keep it low key, that's their thing. But you see the single people out there doing their thing and turning up and having fun. And the show is it's not going to be based along the topic, but we're very intriguing. I got some dope guests, and I got one of my favorite. Well, I got two of my favorites on Bear and the therapist that y'all see on a lot. And we gonna discuss that, man. We discussing a lot of things. We discussing depression. We're discussing like how people should react. You know what I'm saying? If their spouse or whoever they're dating, if they catch them cheating, you know what I'm saying? How should that person react? Is it full go? Is it whatever? And we go talk about some stuff, man. So, appreciate everybody that's been tapping in right now. But let me bring on my two guests, man. What's up, Trina? What's up, Bear? What's good?
Hey, what's up?
What's going on?
Bear, man, what's good with you, my brother?
Shoot, chilling, bro.
Man, and for the people who haven't been watching the show lately, all the new people that been tapping in with your boy, Trina, can you explain who you are? What do you do? What you got going on for sure?
Okay. So, hi, my name is Trina Frazier. I am a licensed professional counselor. So, I have my own practice. This called the Rose Center, servicing 12-year-olds and up, couples. I do group consultations, the like, whatever. And so, I accept some insurances. So I am a provider for some insurances, including Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, Cigna, also known as Evernorth. So contact information, you just catch me on the Facebook or the Instagram page. You can find it at the Rose Center BMT if you have any specific questions. And I'm also the owner of Pop Psych, which is a mental health merch company that is used to promote mental health awareness through fashion. So
For sure. Hey, Bear, let them know who you is, my G.
What's good? This is your boy Bear. I am the host of the Kickback podcast. The Kickback.
Man, hold on, man.
Look, my mind just went blank for a second. I'm sorry. I had to take over. I'm not trying to. I'm sorry. Uh,
You taking over. I see what the plan is.
I'm telling you, my bad. No, not it. Just bear with me, podcast. I'm sorry. Yeah, you can just find it on all platforms. Going to be coming soon to YouTube. That's the game plan, and we're just gonna, pray that everything goes fine on that.
Yeah, for sure, man. And like I said, man, check him out, man. He doing his thing and everything. But yeah, man, we finna tap into episode 131, man. Like I said, if y'all want to share this, y'all share this. If y'all want to call, you could call. The number is gonna be down below. Bang. 409-233-0017. You can also check this out on YouTube. We streaming on YouTube live right now, so you could do that damn thing. And if you missed the show, it's gonna be on Apple Podcasts. It's gonna be on Spotify. It's gonna be on whatever you listen to podcasts or whatever. It's whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's anywhere and everywhere. And so like I said, let's just tap in, man. Let's just talk about because one of my homeboys, he commented and he said being single is fun, is way more funner. I don't know if you ever been in love or not, but he said being single is more fun than being in love. And Barrett, I want to start with you. Do you think being single is way more funner than being in love, man? What do you think about this, man?
I don't know, man. I mean, I guess that would probably depend on your relationship with who you with. I mean, because look, when you're with the right person,
Mm,
trust me, if he or she, if they make sure that you happy, you gonna make sure that they happy too, and y'all's fun is gonna, it's cool to share things when you're fun with somebody, I mean, having fun with somebody,
yeah.
because it's like
Okay.
you got that. Not only do you have that memory, that core memory with them, but you can share, like, yeah, have that little secret, I mean, behind the scenes type laugh about something like, "Babe,
Mm,
remember when such and such happened?" And y'all could just start laughing about that, or something. Somebody might say something, or a song could come on,
mm,
and and the words to kind of remind you of something. Y'all just look at each other, give each other a little smile or something
Mhm.
like that, and that can just
Yeah.
lead up to other things, man. That can lead up to like another adventure or another fun time or just a little private fun time. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you just have that something that you can build with somebody. It's different than when you're going out with different people all the time. I mean, and granted, you know, what you do is what you do. But if you're just going out with this person, that person, this person, that person, there's nothing really to build on with that.
Yeah, I think when you get at a certain age, you kind of I think you want to build, man. Don't that get a little old when you just
Yeah, exactly.
talking to this person, that person, and then you like that person and you think that person cool and they check all the boxes, but you single and you doing your thing, so you just mess with somebody else, and then the effort and the communication, it kind of dwindles with that person. So then they move on because they like, this they ain't showing no effort, they ain't consistent, and then you didn't just let go of somebody that could have been potential, that you could have built with and had a future and everything and stuff like that. Trina, what do you
Hmm.
think? Was you turning up in your single days? I know now lately I'm not gonna tell your business, but back in the days, how was Trina? How was Miss Trina doing?
That was fun.
It was
No,
fun.
um,
It was fun. Okay, all
no.
right.
When I was single, I was single. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm,
Hmm.
um, I mean that in every essence of the word. Like, you know what I'm saying? Which doesn't necessarily mean I was out there just doing everything I was big enough and bad enough to do, but I could if I wanted to, right? So it's a big difference when it comes to being single versus being with somebody. So if I'm with someone, I'm very committed. I don't really play games like that because I could be single and do the same stuff. We
mm.
know that the way situations are, you can pretty much cherry pick what you want out of situations and kind of create situations that you want for yourself at this point. I know you can because I have, right?
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Right.
but the question is about fun, right?
Yeah, it is.
So I'm going to say,
You finna
and when
play.
we're talking about which is fun, more fun, it had obviously the answer is it depends. Like if you have had issues in relationships and you have a history of a boring, a non-fun relationships, then you probably are going to be like, man, being single is better. But if you are one of those people that has lived the single life and then you realize you want something more consistent, then you might not necessarily think it's as fun because sometimes and this is gonna sound contradictory, so I'm gonna call it out already, but I will
Mm.
explain.
Go for it.
When it comes to being single, sometimes the monotony of it all gets boring, right? And then, but then on the other flip side of it, I feel like some fun is achieved through familiarity, right? So I know
Mhm.
that kind of contradicts, like, because it's kind of like something you guys were saying that we're consistent. So if I'm building with someone, then that in itself can help with the fun, right?
Hmm.
What if some of the elements of the situation that made it fun was because it was you? Being single, that might, I can do whatever I want, but that means I might end up with somebody else. And even if I try to achieve the same fun with someone else, it might not work because it's not that person. So you run that risk of, yes, you can do whatever and have fun, but if this particular fun or this experience was really more based on the fact that this was a dope person, they are the reason why it was fun. But there are some people that are so charismatic that some stuff they can make something that you wouldn't even want to do fun, defensive driving, or something just
If
lame,
it's
right? But you find somebody in there that you can chat with. Testing days when we were in school, boring as hell, but you find somebody you can talk to that's fun. That day went by, so that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So the thing
Yeah.
about it is, at the end of the day, is really more so about your own personal experiences, because even that with that freedom that to do whatever comes that responsibility. So now I'm the responsible in a major way of my fun. Period. Now it is
Mm.
all on me. So the
Well,
days when I don't link up with somebody,
it's boring.
well, but when you have someone else that's working with you, sometimes they can pick up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me just say this, as on the guys aspect, because let me just throw this out there. Lately, you're seeing a lot of women. I'm sorry, you're seeing a lot of women. They going on these trips together. You know what I'm saying? Country trips. They going to Jamaica, Mexico. They doing their thing. Guys don't really have guys trips like that. You know what I'm saying? Like females,
Hmm.
y'all are used to having girls trips and turning up and doing those things. Us guys, and most of the time y'all single having fun or whatever. it could be like y'all married or whatever, but you left your man at home. But typically, it's single chicks. They going turning up. They in Miami. They doing their thing. Guys, we really don't get with the homies and be like, hey, bro, let's go to Jamaica. Let's go to Cancun. Let's go let loose. Guys don't really do that. And it's when you're single, like you said, if you're at home doing something, if you're at home and you don't have no plans, then it's really bored. But let me get on the marriage thing, or if you're in love, that's way more fun because, like we was talking before the show, you build memories, you build a lot of things with that person. Um, and you go out on dates, you go out on trips, you go out on couples trips. Those are dope. A couple
Yeah.
trip, dope. Being on that
Yeah.
balcony with whoever it is,
Yeah.
just chilling or whatever and taking vacations. That's really dope. That's some memorable type stuff. And I think a lot of people kind of shun the light. They kind of hate on it because they don't experience it. So they knock it. You know what I'm saying? It's easily to knock something if you really haven't, really been in that type of position before. And a lot of people who had heartbreaks and stuff like that, they be like, F being in love. I'm finna be single, I'm finna turn up. And then when you get in your 40s and your 50s, or maybe in your late 30s or something like that, then you're gonna realize, man, look, I'm trying to let that go. I can't go to the club all the time. I can't turn up all the time. I'm going to sleep a little bit early now. I used to stay up 11, 12, 1, 2 in the morning. Now I'm getting tired at 8 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? And then, life didn't pass you by. And, now, you're looking for somebody to build with. And then, the pickings is slim. Because now you're 50 years old and
Right.
now you're trying to, date, it's not too much out there and stuff like that. So I think,
Mhm.
like my boy said, as far as Timothy Clifton, shout out to Timothy Clifton. I'm gonna have him up in the kickback chilling one day when I get right when I get this little microphone situation right or whatever. But he gonna come through and bless the studio and stuff like that. But it does depend on your intentions. But I think
Yeah.
a lot of people they really truly never experience like love like that where they could take trips and build and do stuff like that. And to be honest with you, being married and being in love, that's not boring.
Mm.
I don't know why people get
Mm.
the concept that that's boring,
Nah.
man. I mean, I think that's a great feeling. That's a dope feeling. So
Mhm.
Like I said, it just depends on who you're with. If you're married to somebody that, I mean, number one, you want to marry somebody who's going to match your energy,
we know you single and
on
loving it, Miss Winston.
yeah, yeah, you want to make sure that you're married to somebody that you're compatible with, and y'all's energies match. So if you have that situation, whenever it comes to like fun and adventure and going out and having a great time together as a couple, uh, it just makes it that much easier and just makes it that much more fun. But it's like your boy said, man, it depends on your intentions because some people who just love the single life, shoot, they're just good with it. And that's probably just the best way to roll with it for them. But
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
personally, for me, shoot, I like a little love life. I'm not gonna lie.
My bad,
I
Miss
like a
Winston.
little
I'm
love
not
life.
trying to speak for you. My
I
apologies.
mean, I ain't gonna lie, the single life worked for me for a long time. I mean, for the
What's
simple
what
fact,
slowed you down? What slowed you down?
well, first of all, let's be clear. The single life don't mean you party. And I think that we need to make sure we clarify
Oh
the
yeah.
no, not you, Bear. I'm talking to this
No,
man
no, no. I'm just
here.
saying. No, I'm just saying. Like
Because he
what
was
you're
like the
saying.
single
Let's
life, right?
clarify.
Some
It's
people
not just
single
going to
life is
parties and
chill.
clubbing.
Yes, because my
Okay.
single life was a lot of times like I was doing stuff like school or something. It's very
Okay.
hard to maintain a relationship when if you really in school, like college or something like that, and you like doing it, especially if I graduated in 3 years with my first one because I went year round. So you don't really
Right.
always have time to dedicate. You may talk to people here and there and hang out, but to really truly be devoted to an actual relationship and put the work in that's needed is very hard. So it was much easier to hang out
Yeah,
and so that I can focus on schoolwork. And plus I was a full, single mom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
let me
my
ask you
single
this
life,
though.
huh?
I'm sorry. Let me ask you this. What made you like? When I mean slow down, like what made you decide? Okay, or was it just that person? Was it just the vibe? Was it just the chemistry that said, okay, okay, Trina, this right here, this go work right here.
I
Did it
mean,
happen like that?
everything with me happens organically though. Like, so I
Mm.
don't like force anything, you know what I'm saying? Like in this particular situation now, as far as my marriage or whatever, I was intentional as far as my focus, but I still was open to kind of letting things happen the way they would. Because to be honest with you, they didn't like I couldn't have planned the way they happened. This is not how I would have planned it, to be honest with you. So, but I let
Mm.
things happen naturally. So I don't really force stuff. And for a long time, I had no desire to be just that connected to somebody. Anyway,
Right.
so I don't really like forcing stuff. So, like I say, you may have your chill and stuff, but to be able to devote that time to the relationship to make it be something that was worth your while in the first place, I really didn't always have that. So sometimes you're single for that, and then sometimes people just kind of don't. I think it's a very mature thing, to be honest, about not having the will to even try to work on a relationship so you stay single. Because some people don't do that. You do not want to work on a relationship. You just gonna be kind of existing in it, but you're not gonna do the work. But you still get in it for all the other things that we get in relationships for, like the fun. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But
Yeah.
you don't want to do the work. And so I
Right.
respect people that are what we call serially single if they know they don't want to do the
Wow.
work.
Serial single people.
Yes.
Man, I ain't never heard that before. That's okay.
I know that's a new term.
Serial
That was
singles.
all right. Bet that.
So, but nah, it
Um,
was natural. So that's the answer.
and I think I like what you said as far as work. When you think about relationships and getting with somebody or whatever, work doesn't even come to. That's probably like at the bottom, like work. Like, what are you talking about? Work in a relationship, like. Yeah, because
Mhm.
like when they have that first argument, that big argument, they be like, forget it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna move on.
Yeah, they want to bounce.
I was
Yep.
they.
Yeah, they're like, so you can't even argue with Trina like that. Hey, man, I want to go to such and such. I don't want to go to. Next thing you know, your phone number's blocked or something. Like, damn, bro. Like, she didn't even give me a second chance to apologize the next day or something like that. But yeah, I
Dang,
mean,
till you doing them like that?
No, I just like might have considered mean or something. I don't know, but I was like, woo,
a
that's a lot,
serial single. She said she don't know what serial single means.
Mm.
It's
Oh,
like
so
a serial dater.
not yeah, exactly. And I mean, honestly, I never heard that anywhere specifically that I can recall, but I just use serial because, like you said, other ways that it's used, that's what I meant in context. So
Yeah.
someone who was like always single, it kind of reminds me of somebody that Floyd was, I think, describing. It'd be somebody he would consider serially single. He's like 50, still out there, not with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like you just
Mhm.
everybody around you is connecting to people, and you notice that there are certain people that just don't seem to be connecting with people,
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Stacey Lewis.
or you might see them with a person all the time and y'all think that they together, and when it all come out they like, oh no, we not together. It's like, oh, but y'all going
Ooh,
on
that's hurtful. If you know what I'm saying, like you feeling this person and be like, no, we not together. We just kicking it. Like, damn, that's very hurtful. I
I
think
call
that
it
happened
act
to me.
like
That happened to me a long
act
time
like
ago.
act likes. We
Act like, yeah.
Yeah, that's I
Mhm.
literally call it act likes
Oh
because you're
man,
doing everything like you're in a relationship. You just don't have that label. So
yeah. What's up,
Yeah.
Patricia? Shout out to Patricia. Shout out. Appreciate you for tapping in. Stacy, I like Stacy. Say he say, I like both. He values his time being single, but he appreciates and adores marriage for sure.
I was about to say that too. I mean, I want to shout out to Stacy on that one. That's a dope vibe right there. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's the same thing. You enjoy your time being single because you have to. Because something that Trina you mentioned on earlier, something you touched on earlier is about the fact that you explored yourself and you learned so much about yourself as you're
Yeah.
single. So that's the best thing to do. Don't just jump into a relationship just for the sake of jumping into a relationship because all of a sudden I'm alone. I just need to have somebody to be with. Nah, it's just not like that. I mean, if that's the case, you get you a chill buddy. But you know,
Yeah.
but if you just want to get in a relationship, like I said, just for the kicks and giggles, don't do that because you're wasting your time and you're wasting that other person's time on top of that. So just go ahead and stay single, enjoy your time being single, learn yourself as you're being single, and then, like Stacey say, I know that you adore a relationship, a marriage, then build on that when you find the right person because you don't want to mess around and jump in one marriage to another because that just ain't the vibe. Seriously.
Nah. And see, for me, I would take some of those concepts he said and kind of flip it a little bit, because for me, it's like I actually appreciated the single time, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I value and adore even the idea of marriage, right?
Mhm.
But I absolutely appreciate the single time. I'll be honest with you. Just sometimes, like I wasn't really a person that just, like I've said this before, did a lot of relationships anyway. So a lot of stuff that I was doing was fun.
Mm.
Being honest, convenient. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
at the same time, I also realized now, reflecting from a more mature perspective, I would relationship material anyway.
You was breaking hearts.
No, I was just like, just kind of mean. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, no
Mm.
nonsense at times,
Okay.
but still probably nonsense myself. So,
Mean or blunt?
I get the blunt
probably
treatment.
blunt,
Yeah,
probably
I get
Yeah.
a little
I think
blunt
that's
Yeah.
treatment.
like, I was never evil and vindictive. I wasn't afraid
Right.
to tell
Right.
stuff,
Man.
but mean, like far as like what I say, I can be
Yeah.
very direct, not lie,
Yes. That's
but
the word
it's
I was really
just
looking for.
it was a better way to say a lot of the things that I said. They were not lies, but still, I think
Hmm.
that you are still responsible for how you say things. And
Right.
communication is such a big part of relationships. That's why I say, at the end of the day, I don't think that oh, thank you. I don't see that I was actually ready for one too. Because
Mm.
you don't try to cut down or, other people, like if you care about them, but if that's your defense mechanism, then it's like, okay. So,
Okay.
and that's not relationship material either. Relationship material is more than
Right.
just being faithful. Because that's the other
Right.
part. Everybody thinks that as long as you're faithful, your relationship material is like, there are so many other reasons why relationships don't work other than just cheating. For some people, that's the least of their worries. You
Okay,
know
so
what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
let's dive into it because the statistics show that women are filing for divorce at a higher rate. So why y'all doing the brothers like that? Not brothers in
Oh,
particular, but why are y'all doing men like that? What's up? Like, why are y'all filing for divorces at a higher rate? What's going on here?
you want me to go first?
Yes, please. After you, by all means.
Okay. Okay, so this is all just speculation. I've not done
Speculation,
any
yes.
research on it because it's been consistently, like, I've not looked at it for specifically by gender. You
Mm,
just hear that they say at one point it was like 50% of marriages ended divorce, and then I heard, like,
yes.
for a pandemic it was like 80% at one point, because a lot of stuff went wonky during the pandemic. But I will say that I would
Yeah.
speculate that women are filing at a higher rate because they're more independent now. I think that what stopped a lot of women from filing for divorce in the past, one was they really didn't necessarily have the right to. I would say, but I'm gonna say
Hmm.
them. Like, it was a lot of restrictions on what they were able to do. So it's a lot of women that actually would have left if they could have,
They
but they
couldn't because
didn't.
Hmm.
financial reasons. They was
Financial reason and the law. I mean, just a lot of
In
laws
law, I was
that
about to say that. Yeah, it was a
yeah,
law
I
back
mean,
then
let's be
too.
very clear. The laws were very restrictive on the rights of women back in
Hmm.
the day, on what they
Oh,
could
you
and could
talking
not
about
do.
like in the 50s and the 60s and
I mean,
stuff like
yeah,
that?
that's it back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay.
As
Yeah.
far as like, not being able to own things, and it's a lot of things you just couldn't do on your own. You know what I'm saying? So I think and I only mentioned that for comparison on how very different. Like, we still have some struggles as women, when it comes to certain things, but just generally speaking, we are so different now. We have, there's so
Hmm.
many more rights. So you can file for divorce. Women are getting jobs, different jobs, high paying jobs. So a lot of the reasons why people would stay in relationships, or why women specifically would stay in relationships, have been resolved, or, they've been made self sufficient in a way. So now, willing to take less, thresholds are lower now. You know what I'm saying? And so,
Hmm.
unfortunately, also, motivation may be lower. You know what I'm
So
saying? To be
so
honest, because it's like what's at stake is not as heavy or dire anymore. It's not because I need a roof over my head by the grace of God, because I'm happy. Because I feel like, man, it needs to be a choice. You gotta be mindful. I've always been told to be cautious of people who need you. Because
mm,
they'll do
Hmm.
anything.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You want people to want you, because there's no desperation in that. There's a desperation in
Right.
someone needing you.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the divorce rates are higher because people are more independent in general. They're not as needed. They're more self-sufficient. Um, you know, they found solutions when it comes to certain things that before were problems. So
You think
that's what I think.
you think like social media helped boost that because
Oh,
a
absolutely.
while a long time ago you really couldn't meet people unless you was just out and about, and now with social media you meeting people from Houston to Dallas to New Orleans, and it's just a click of a button, and all they
Yeah.
got to do is like a few pics or jump in your inbox and start a little conversation, and before you know it, y'all are talking and doing this and meeting up and sending all kind of messages and stuff like that. So you think kind of social media kind of like helped the divorce rate jump up like that?
Just
See,
in
that was going
general,
to be my angle.
are you saying like just in general or specifically about women?
No, I'm
Still,
talking about in general.
um, well, I mean, I guess accessibility,
Yeah.
of course, right? But I also feel like, in order for me to even act on it, the seed must first be planted. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? So there has to be an issue. Like I remember I was watching this podcast, and y'all may know the comedian Gary Owen, right? It was
Hmm.
a big
Yeah.
deal with him
Right.
and his wife were getting a divorce, and Gary Owen is Caucasian, his wife is African American,
Hmm.
and that was a big part of it too, because if you know Gary Owen, you know his story, you know that he's considered the white comic that's accepted in the black community.
Yes.
All of them always get on about that, right? So he was talking about all of that or whatever, and he was talking about his divorce and just all the stuff, because it was really toxic and everything. And it was
Mm.
like something along the lines of saying he cheated, right?
Mm.
And so they
Okay.
was like, oh, so the marriage is ending because you cheated. And he was like, well, first and foremost, cheating is never the reason why it ends. And to be honest with you, I believe that to a certain extent, because something happened that opened that door, whether he just sucked
Yes.
as a person and
Yeah.
just honestly wasn't honest about the fact that he didn't believe in or want to remain, within the agreement of fidelity, right? He didn't want to stay faithful or whatever, or maybe there was a lack of communication with them. Anytime we have issues in the relation, there's a rift sometimes that leads that vulnerability, but everybody doesn't take that route. So it's
Hmm.
not an excuse for him cheating, because everybody, you may experience strife, but everybody doesn't choose to cheat on that person because of that. So you can't say that's automatically. However,
Hmm.
I can agree that something else was up before that. That was just a response to it. A sucky response, and there was immature response and unfair, because you can always leave. And if you feel like, well, no, we got this, we got that, then you need to do what you need to do, because that's the chance you take when you take that vow. It may be
Cheating.
messy. You know what I'm saying? I may not be able to get out of it as quickly as I want to, but that's the risk that I'm taking. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So, but like I
Yeah.
said, at the end of the day, accessibility does matter. So people have more more people are accessible. You know what I'm saying? But what made you even pick it though?
Yeah, and as far as like with marriage, I think a lot of people, you always see the negative stuff. Like as far as when social media go, the negative will always like for some reason it overshadows the good and stuff like that.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
I mean, people they love drama, they love
Hmm.
couples fighting and the divorce parties and all this stuff like that, and it's more to the forefront. So
Divorce parties.
yeah,
Mhm.
man, they be having divorce parties and stuff.
Oh my
So
goodness, dude. Come on.
Hey
like
man,
it,
divorce is an option for a reason, guys. I'm serious. It's an option for a
Yeah.
reason, and divorce doesn't always have to be negative. I think it sucks when
No.
people stay together because of the stigma associated with divorce. And when it all boils down to it, they would so very much so both be happier apart. But because of the stigma and the strife, like they gotta wear a scarlet D on their chest or something, just because you got a
That's what I
divorce,
mean.
just because you guys made sorry, literary reference. You don't remember the
That's
scarlet
cool.
letter from school? Everybody
Yeah,
had
yeah,
to
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
The
yeah,
movies and
yeah.
everything. Yeah, we watched everything.
Exactly,
So,
exactly. Shoot, we had to read that so
y'all know
many
what it was
times in
about.
high
oh
school.
man, too.
Right? And y'all
Bruh.
know it was the shame. And so I think that a
Yeah.
lot of times people are so afraid of the shame that they think that will come with divorce. It's such a taboo word that they'll run from it and instead suffer. And it's like, that's not me at all. I'm not that
Yeah,
person.
but do you think couples should go ahead and I mean before divorce? Do you think they should see a therapist before they divorce
I'm
and
not
all
saying what
that.
people should or shouldn't do. It could benefit you if you
I'm
wanted to do
s-
that. There are some people that do that.
Now,
You
what you
know what I
think,
mean?
bro?
Yeah.
I'm saying it's probably something that needs to be done, but it has to be something that needs to be done come from both sides, because you can't just go into just say, okay, we need to go into therapy when one person doesn't even want to. Because if communication is an issue, then putting them in front of a therapist is not going to, change the communication problem. So one of the things about trying to see therapists is, number one, you have to understand that you probably have some kind of problem there in the first place. So if both people don't see that there's a problem on both of their sides, then going to therapy together is not going to help anything. Personally, in my opinion, I think that you should go to therapy separately first to figure out exactly what is wrong with what's going on and what came from that. And then once you get to a point where you're like, I have a better understanding of myself, then you can go in, as a couple. Before even trying to do that though, going in as a couple together, that way, once you find out that there's an understanding about yourself that you have and you know where your problem lies, then you can go in uh, together as just you and that person talking to each other and trying to communicate. Okay, I know now what my background is. I know now why I am how I am and why I reacted the way I reacted and why we had this situation, why we had this chasm. So let's work on what we can do to fix that, correct that, and build on what we're correcting. And if that still doesn't help, then I say you go to therapy.
Mm.
I don't think therapy should be the automatic answer. Excuse me.
Why
No
you looking
disrespect,
like that,
TRE.
Tree?
No, I wasn't gonna disrespect. I like it, but I mean,
All
I
right.
get.
Yeah. I'm just saying, no disrespect against you or your industry or whatever like that. But I'm just saying, I think it should be something that you should, try to build on, because I come from a background of what happens at home stays at home.
Hmm.
You got to fix what happens at home as a couple first. And if that doesn't work, then yes, get outside help. Try to build on that. And but at the same time, like I said in the beginning, though, it can only work if both of you are on the same path. If one person's on one path and another person's on the other path, even if y'all go in the same direction, there can't be a ditch in the middle. There can't be a part in the middle. You have to be on the exact same path. And like, if you're not on the exact same path, then it's pointless. You're wasting your time, you're wasting their time, and you're wasting the therapist's time. Well, not really, because the therapist's getting paid regardless. So
That is okay. So now you're starting to kind of bother me a little bit. I don't like that last statement you made. Nah, but I like it because that's the truth. That's what I like. But I don't agree with you, like totally. And I can tell you why. If Floyd, if that's okay.
That's cool.
Okay.
No, ain't
So
tripping.
first and foremost, I'm going to tell you a little bit about just a little snippet about what couples therapy looks like with myself, and I learned this from other people because everybody
okay,
has
go
their
for it.
style. So for me, when I deal with couples, I do a 4-part intake process with them. The
Mhm.
first one is them together. The second one is for one person. The third one is for the other person, and that's their one individual session, so I can talk to them one-on-one. At that time, I assess for their communication style, and I look to see if they can tell me anything in particular that they feel like they just absolutely have to tell me, whether it's about their concerns in a relationship or something, right? Once we finish, they have the understanding that by session 4, which is the last part of the intake process, there's no more I. The couple
Mhm.
is the client, period, in couples therapy. And then moving forward, that's it. And there's a certain curriculum I use that addresses specific aspects of couples, like of far as the functioning and things like that, right? And so
Mhm.
that's that. Why? Because that in that way, we as the therapists give them the opportunity to communicate. We also get a better understanding of their communication style because that will be brought up when we get back together. And that's going to help us understand what's going on with them, right?
Right.
So that's the one thing. If we believe that you as a part of this couple would benefit from your own individual therapy, we will tell you that. We will ready to refer you or let you know that it is in your best interest and in the best interest of this process that you get your own therapy as well. Okay. If we feel like that it is such a hindrance to this process that it will not work, then we will also let you know that as well, right? And know that some people go to couples therapy by themselves. See?
Is that a good thing?
It's not
Yeah.
a good or bad thing. It's just that when you think about it, the way that couples therapy is conducted versus individual therapy is different. Like literally for me, I have a full curriculum I follow. And so I can actually have that scheduled in a certain block, right? Whereas individual therapy can be just on and on depending on what that person wants to work on. But the fact is, you're trying to learn specific things about relationship. You can do that on your own. So there is a such thing. If you're a person that's had issues in relationships over and over, and you're trying to figure out what's the issue, you might actually go to couples therapy, but by yourself. Sometimes there's a person in the couple that wants couples therapy and their partner does not want to participate. And guess what? They start going anyway. So it's just really different dynamics. So that's that. Two, the way that I took what Floyd said is similar to how some people, they don't necessarily go to therapy. And this is one of the only times I've ever differentiated between therapy and counseling. But the thing about it is therapy sounds more clinical. Counseling sounds more educational. So sometimes people go to premarital counseling and it's educational. So, sometimes, and then if it's like based on their religion, it teaches them about that aspect of it too. But sometimes people go to non-religious premarital counseling and it's looking to help them with understanding the major components of a relationship and, communication, all that stuff like that. That's not therapy, but they may benefit from that. You know what I'm saying? Because, and it's not looked at as, oh, we have a problem already. It's like, no, we want to learn so we can avoid some. So having that before can be very beneficial, and it doesn't have to be so clinical or, like there's a problem.
Therapy and counseling is different.
In this context, I'm saying it is because I feel like you can prove, tell me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like counseling may sound more educational than therapy. Therapy just sounds to me like clinical. Like I said, it sounds.
No, I agree with that. Therapy and counseling thing. Yeah, because I always seen therapy as like counseling.
When you think about it,
like as a therapeutic thing, clinical thing.
And I said that because what you're speaking about, Bear, I think is more like the therapy. Because you're like both people have to be on the same page. Now we're working on something then, so that's a lot, more intense sometimes than just trying to be more proactive. Now, there are going to be times when people will start going to therapy, and I've experienced this. And at first, they're not all in, but they're there.
They just there.
And over time, they start to see and understand the process for what it is. Sometimes people go into their situation with their guards up because they feel like it's about to be, the therapist against them. You know what I'm saying? That type of deal. And so they go in there with their guards up, and it takes time for them to get comfortable enough to be like, okay, so this is not a get me situation. And
so you don't think that could lead to something bad, like something worse?
What do you mean?
Like if somebody comes in there always guarded, doesn't want to be there from the beginning, you think that's not going to make them become even more guarded, even more standoffish, and just kind of like rebellious to it?
It's a challenge. I've had stubborn clients. It works out in the end. It's actually a lot more rewarding sometimes, for lack of a better word, because they actually start to see the value and their impact. Their progress is genuine. It's more genuine at times because they really did not believe in this process. So I've had clients that have actually said, I really didn't believe in it, but I feel like I have no other choice. Or I felt, why not? The reluctance, right? Or I came and I was hoping that it would work, but I wasn't sure how it was going to work. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, there's reluctance for people. It's there, even for individuals. They just like, I wasn't even sure, but if I even believed in this for a while, but here I am and I'm starting to notice. So sometimes it's really just about being there. And the same way in a couple, in a relationship, sometimes you're down and your other person kind of makes up that extra percentage and kind of balances you out. So I might be doing 20 this day and you to 80, we good.
Right.
I might be on 50, you 50, we balanced. One day I might be 70, you 30, but we still good, right?
We're still balanced, yeah.
Same thing with therapy, like you said. Sometimes the other person may not be on the same page. They may not see it, but they love that person and they still there. This person is more, this is the 70 today. They the 80. You know what I'm saying? And then eventually it might work out as well because I may not always agree with you. You know what I'm saying? But I love you. So therefore it's like, Man, I mean, if it was anybody else, I wouldn't even be fooling with this. But
Right,
I care
right.
about your feelings, and obviously this means this to you, so I'll try it. That's reluctance.
Okay,
Makes
well,
me
Absolutely.
okay, well, let's tap into this because I was inboxed this. It was a question. I broke the question down. It was longer than what she was saying, but she was like, "Did men
Ew.
forget how to be romantic?" I was like, "I think we talked about this before." But I was like, listen, hey, I said this deserves a conversation if we have talked about this before. But Bear, do you think on a man's aspect, you think a lot of men just speaking on your friends or homies or whatever, do you think some of them are lacking as far as like dating tips? I mean, like, how to really like romance a woman, dog, because we'll just go ahead and I'll chime in after that.
Okay, I think part of that is the fact that okay, let's look at the generational thing. Number one, I think our generation and older, it's one of those situations that, and even probably the generation before, after us as well. I think it's also kind of what we were taught, what we were built in, what we had built into us. Um, the most, it's always like, oh, just get a woman flowers and candy, and take her
Yeah,
out
the
to a dinner
typical,
and a
yeah,
movie.
flowers,
Yeah,
candy
the
thing.
typical stuff. Exactly. That's not really romantic because it's baseline. Romantic, in my opinion, is knowing that individual and playing on what that individual likes. Like
Mm.
if she does like, and I'm speaking from a man's aspect, so if she does like dinner and a movie, she does like flowers and chocolate, okay, then you hit her up because that's gonna be romantic for her. That's what she likes. That's her vibe. There could be other women who are like, what's romantic to me? Take me out on a hike, fill up my, or romantic to some women could be uh like your spouse or something like that could be get the lunch ready for the kids before they go out to school and help them get dressed in the morning. That could
Okay,
be
yeah,
romantic for her.
yeah,
Uh, and so it just really depends on that individual. But I think part of it, though, and when I'm saying all that, I think part of the problem is the fact that there is, and usually all of our conversations, we always talk about this, always comes back to this. It's just the lack of communication.
and
Lack of
it's
communication. And beyond just the communication, it's the understanding, listening to understand instead of listening just to have your time to speak or listening just
exactly,
to let
and
them
and
say something.
and here's the
Because if,
thing too, not to cut you off, Barrett,
okay,
but
no, 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 you're
when
good.
you communicate to understand, so when you do take her on that date, or when you do go on that first date, I don't think you should be so quick to go on that second date. I think after that first date, you should still get to communicate and understand who that person is. That way, that second date, then you can find out more of what she likes, and then you can kind of build upon that. Like, what I'm saying, like the first date, you might take
Absolutely.
out to dinner, and then through conversations, maybe like 2 3 days, or maybe even a week or so, you find out like, oh, okay,
Absolutely.
she likes hiking or something, or she likes going to the the art gallery or something like that. So yeah, I think for sure you definitely have to communicate to understand, and then that's going to help you become a better dater, or
Yeah.
it'll make the dates better than be like, oh, let's go to this dinner, let's go out here to eat right here.
Yeah.
Then 2 weeks later, you're going to another place to eat over here, and really all y'all doing is just going out to eat. You know what I'm saying? And you're taking out to eat, having drinks,
Exactly.
dropping her off, or whatever the case be. So it's pretty along those lines. Or you might get her some flowers. You know what I'm saying? It's like nothing spontaneous or something that's different from the norm. So
And you say you hit my word right there with the spontaneity, man. I love shoot, that's me. I like it for somebody spontaneous, and I like being spontaneous, So we do something that's just flip, something that's different, something that's off the
mm,
cuff. Man, it's on. It's funny too, because like I said, we were talking about we talk about this all the time, but I saw somebody she posted on IG saying that uh, you wash my dishes, baby, you can get it. And that's because she cooking already. She said, I'm cooking. So if you just wash my dishes, I'm good. So I was like,
that
all
was
right,
it.
that's bet.
Okay,
Yeah, that was it.
teamwork.
But like I said, everybody's romance level is different. But
Mm,
I already know that she probably likes other things too, as far as romance is concerned. But like I said, there are just levels to romance that just doesn't have to be, the prototypical dinner and a movie, buy me flowers, buy me candy, or write me a card type of thing. It could just be
yeah.
some. It always depends on that individual.
What you think, Tree?
I about to say, I know T got a whole bunch to
She's
say
about to
right
go
now.
in,
No,
man.
no,
She
I'm
didn't.
trying
She's
not to. It's just that, like, I'm just trying to understand, like, the definition, the working definition of what's considered romantic. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I'm not a
Hmm.
dude, and I'm also not like necessarily the. I don't know. Sometimes I think of romance. I think, and this might be immature in me. I think of the mushy stuff, and I'm not really just really big on all that. You know what I mean? Like
okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
romance to me is attentiveness. You know what I'm saying? And when you were speaking, Bear, it reminded me of the love languages. So to me, romance is loving somebody within their language. That's romantic.
Right.
So like
Hmm.
if your person's love language is spending time and they like to play video games, then to me it's romantic if you learn how to play and play with them.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Whereas some people don't want anything to do with them. They don't even want their partner playing them. You know what I'm saying? So that wouldn't be romantic to them, or they wouldn't even have that. If they heard, they'd be like, you know what I'm saying? But it's like I think this romance has to do with just learning the person and paying attention. Because if you hear somebody, your partner mentioning something in passing, even if they're like, it's cool, I might not get it, and then you get it for them, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I feel like that's romantic because you're paying attention to them. So it just
Right.
depends on them, but not necessarily like the card. Like flowers are cool. I actually think flowers are really cool. You know
Really?
what I'm saying?
Okay.
But I also only, I mean, I was one of the people that said when I grow up, I'm always have fresh flowers in my house, that type of deal.
Okay.
That has
Okay.
not happened. Okay, let me be very clear. But I thought about it. I wanted to.
But you
So
thought
if
about
somebody
it.
flowers, I would
Well,
like
they
them,
say the
but
thought that count, right?
I had to communicate that because again, I'm not really into the mush. So it's like, you wouldn't think that. But if you're paying attention or if I say it to you and you're listening to me now, I may not be into all of the mush and please don't serenade me. Oh, Jesus. But awkward for me, but that I'd be like, oh, cool. And you ain't gotta do it. I just walk in, like, flowers, yo, that's dope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So attentiveness.
I'm
And
not.
men
Right.
don't always pay attention, I don't
I,
think,
And see, I
because
kind of
well,
spoke on that on one of my episodes of Just Bear With Me,
just bear
just
with me.
like about a
Podcast.
month
Y'all
ago.
check it out on Spotify,
Yes, sir.
Apple Podcasts, everything. Y'all check
yeah,
it
I'm gonna
out.
have to make sure.
Thank you,
Is
sir.
it
Thank you,
traditional
sir.
spelling? It's traditional spelling. Bear with me. Just
Bear,
BAR.
bear, just like the no bear, just like the animal.
Okay. So, but I mean, men, as far as like that, so we say attentiveness. If we say that men forgot how to be romantic, I think it has to do with attention span. And, as far as like social media, like I say, it's so much. We all have
Hmm.
access to so many people that you really don't have to pay attention if you
Shoot,
don't
these
want.
dating apps.
Yeah, you don't. Oh man, it's just swipe,
Yeah,
swipe, 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 swipe.
yeah. It
So
got like about man. Look, whenever before what 10, 15 years ago, it was like just Match.com. Now they got like
Yeah.
five or six. Now they got like five or six. I mean,
uh,
the other thing you probably had Black Planet too. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Probably people linking
Match.com.
up on there. Yeah, exactly. People linking up on
Hey,
there. But now you got like
I had
about
a friend of
five,
mine.
six different 7, 8, 9, 10 apps.
Not to tell my friend business, but he got married off of one. I mean, he met a chick and they got married like ASAP. They
I
didn't work
know a
out.
lot
it
of people
happens.
like
Yeah.
that.
But
I
see, this
know a
is
lot
the
of
thing.
people like that, but they don't last though. I
Yeah,
hope they
that sounds
last, but
judgy. No. Stop it. Let me tell you something.
I
First
didn't
and
like her.
foremost, the beauty
no,
of
no, no. I'm not trying to be. I'm
romanticism.
not judging. I'm not judging. I'm
I'm
just
not
saying.
gonna
Okay.
lie. I didn't like her.
I've
When
I've
we got
seen
with her,
it.
I didn't like her. I didn't like her,
You
and
Yeah.
I
said,
told him.
Bam, they don't last. I know people who has lasted.
No, I'm saying the ones that I know haven't
My
lasted.
homeboy,
That's what
his
I'm
didn't
talking
last.
about. I'm not saying all of them. No, 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 no. I'm
His
not
didn't
trying to be
last.
like
He
that.
didn't listen. I tried to tell him she ain't the one. He didn't
Look at
listen to
him.
me, and it didn't work out. I ain't trying to put it in his face, but I told him.
But that can happen with a
I
person
told
you
you
meet
so.
in person. That can happen with a person you meet in person. The thing about it
Absolutely.
is, with the dating apps, a lot of times, while there's still people on there that probably BS, at least you know that for the
Mhm.
most part, a lot of them people are there to date. So you don't have to
Yeah.
worry about guessing in the, just generally speaking, the community where you wondering is somebody, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times the intentions are there, and then again, we know that everybody's not honest, but a lot of people on there are. So they ask a lot of questions that you can get
Hmm.
answers to off the top. So the filtering system could be considered more efficient, right? Because you're filtering from a larger pool, better chance of you finding a mate. But at the same time, like either way is either way. Like they got, people always like, you'll meet somebody crazy. It's like, First of all,
You can
hello,
meet somebody crazy in the grocery aisle.
exactly. And then
Mhm.
the dating apps are now it's word with friends. I mean, if there's a chat feature on a game, people are hooking up through those things. So you don't
Mm.
even
Yeah,
need like
yeah,
a dating app or anything for that reason. But I said what I said because we have so much access to so many different options per se. You don't necessarily have to pay attention if you don't want to. And it takes intention and it takes energy and it takes effort to pay attention. So
mhm,
therefore, men may not have necessarily forgotten how to be romantic. It's just that they can get the things that they normally would have had to be romantic to get or maintain more easily. You know what I'm
that's
saying? So
facts.
serenading a woman, taking her out, and I'm only speaking women to men because of the traditional, right? It was the guy picking
Right.
the girl up and taking her out and showing her a great time with the hopes that however how good the first day was, that would determine if we're going to go on another date,
Mhm.
right? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
every dating game you've seen has been set up that way. We go on a date. Hey, do y'all want to go on a second date? That type of deal, right? Now
Hmm.
it's like, no, you don't have to do all that. So I don't necessarily have to invest that much time and effort and attention in that. So therefore, I don't have to be romantic. Romantic has to do with paying attention.
Okay, what do y'all think about Miss Nalina Winston? What do you
Well,
think
how
about
can you
her
be
question?
romantic on an app?
Yeah, or long distance relationship? I think it's just through a
Oh,
lot of communication. Long
That
distance.
that and effort,
and
communication and effort.
surprises. I mean, it's so easy to do this now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even if a person's love language is not gifts, acts of service. So, if that person's car,
Hmm.
they work and they come outside and their car is like detailed to the max, they like, woof. You know what I'm saying? So it don't always have to be gifts. It could be acts of service, and we can send, you can postmate, whatever. You can get stuff delivered to people. You can order something
Yeah.
on
Yes, you
Amazon and
can.
get it shipped everywhere.
Yeah.
There's so
Hmm.
many ways to be. You can, make calls to get certain things done for people, communicating with them. Some people love sweet nothings still. So sweet yes
Yeah.
and stuff.
I know.
So
Sorry, TR, I'm not
no,
trying to
you're
cut
fine.
you off, but I know a couple during the pandemic. We were all locked in our houses, really couldn't go out and do anything. There were really no restaurant situations, so they couldn't really go on a date traditionally, face to face. So what they did, they had a little Zoom date.
Yeah.
They linked up on Zoom, and they like he ordered DoorDash for the both of them, and
Okay.
they ate, and they ate together, and they watched the
I
movie
like that.
together. Yeah,
Damn.
they watched the movie together in sync while they're on Zoom and everything, and they had a really great time. That was, like I said, that was at the peak of the pandemic back in like 2020. So here we are 3 years later, and they still together, just as strong. In fact, if not, I probably want to say that made them stronger because all they had
Mm.
was just raw communication. That's all they had to build on, and they built on that. And that, like I said, this just made them stronger to this day. So I mean, I kudos to them, commend them on that.
Man,
So
I like
yeah,
the
that's stuff you can do long
I
distance.
like when you said effort. If
Yeah.
you like them, is you the effort is nothing. It's effortless, like what I'm saying, like you said, DoorDash. You could get flowers delivered. You can even
Hmm.
fly. You know what I'm saying. You can even probably just catch a flight. You know what I'm saying, to
Hmm.
go see
Okay.
that person. So
Okay.
I
I'm gonna cut you
mean,
off real quick, man. But my son's mom and I, that's how we met.
mhm,
Honestly, we met through somebody linking us up. They were like, "Hey, I know somebody," and they tried to play matchmaker or whatever like that. And I was living in Dallas at the time, and she was staying out here in Houston.
okay,
So all we had to build on was just phone call conversations. We'd be on the phone for hours in fact, I remember one time we was on the phone for like a full 24 hours straight. It was during the
twenty four
March 24 hours straight, bro, straight up. we were we
Wow.
were watching March Madness together, and just watching that over the phone together. And but like I said, she lived in Houston and I lived in Dallas at the time. So I never flew before. I hated flying. I was scared of heights, but I was like, you know what? I don't want to make that road trip because that road trip could be tiring, taxing sometimes when you're by yourself.
Yeah.
So man, shoot, I went on ahead and caught flights. So every other month, we would always see each other. She fly up to Dallas, or I fly down to Houston. Sometimes it was me flying more than she was.
Man,
But
what's
hey,
that? A
you know what?
30-minute flight?
It's about 45 minutes to an hour. It just depends on the weather. Yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying.
ain't gonna
But
lie,
I mean,
bro.
that was straight up for me. That's so perfect what I needed because, like I said, that was my first time
Yeah,
ever flying, so I needed that to break me
man,
in.
I'm
Now,
still a little shaky even flying. I ain't even gonna lie, man.
hey man, I flew to San Diego about a year and a half ago, man, and it was a bomb. I mean, it was a dope vacation, man. I highly
Yeah.
recommend. If nobody's been to San Diego, I highly recommend San
Hmm.
Diego, especially
Might
in
have to put that
October.
on the bucket list. How was the flight?
Yeah. Oh, the flight was dope. Flight was dope, man.
The
It
flight.
was real good. Had no issues whatsoever, man. But yeah, but like I said, so long distance, it can happen. You can be romantic long distance. It just really depends on, like I said, the effort that you're putting into it,
Yeah.
on
So,
both sides, because you got
uh,
to have both sides putting in much effort on something like that.
no doubt. And before we switch subjects, man, Trini, your hair is fire. The braids is fire.
Oh,
They
for
hit
sure.
right now. I ain't gonna lie. I'm thinking like, dang, her braids is on lit right now. Just had to.
Well, I have to stop
Looking
here.
like she just came from the
Shout out.
shop.
Look, I did literally got them done today. I had to give me a little Easter
Okay.
See?
hair, okay?
Ha
Shout out to
ha
Okay.
Sinitra Sam, also known as Nikki.
Who?
Bet,
Yeah, let me
bet.
What was her
promote
name?
herself.
What? Who?
Sinitra Sam,
Oh
also
yeah.
known as
Okay.
Nikki.
Oh okay. I didn't know she do hair like that.
That's my sister. She be hooking me up.
Okay. I didn't
All
know she
right,
did hair
bet.
like that. Okay. Next
Yeah, she does
level.
really good. So I be trying to get her to promote herself, and I try to promote her too. So
Do she do
yes.
retwist?
No.
No.
But you know what? She probably could, because she actually, like I say, she's really good. She started off just doing it because she wanted to do her little girl's hair. Like she got tired of paying
Mm,
people to do it, and
yeah,
that's
for
why she
sure.
started doing it. But now she does
That's a
really
smart
well.
move.
Okay, I
That's a
feel
smart
that.
move because that could be expensive as a mug.
Yeah, I feel that. Let's go. Let's go into this subject right here. Do you think most men? I put me. Most men. I gotta change that. Uh, hold on. Okay, there we go. There we go. Bang. Most men are not good leaders till later in life. I want to
Mm,
put true or false on there, but I don't know. I'm just gonna go on and say true because I don't think I'm just to answer the question because y'all went first and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna
for sure.
one of the questions. I believe, like you know, what I'm saying, as far as like a young man, he has to go through experiences in life and he has to learn certain things and learn like as far as who are the right people for you and stuff like that to become a great leader. As far as it being in a relationship, because you know, what I'm saying a lot of us young men we don't have as far as role models to look at and be like, I want to be like that person. You know what I'm saying? I want to be like
Mhm,
this person. Or if you do, you know, the your homies or your friends or your circle or whoever you hang with, you know, it's a little peer pressure in that. So I think
mhm,
for most men, you have to get away from your circle to find out who you are to become a great leader. And I think a lot of teens in the community are young black men in the early 20s and stuff like that. I think when they do break away and they get on their own, they learn who they are and find within themselves and they become a great leader or the leader they supposed to be. And you know, as far and let me just speak on myself as far as like a leader. Now let me get in as far as a relationship. Now to become a great leader, you have to have vision. And
mhm,
you know, the vision was there, but the effort wasn't there. Cause I always had the vision to be like, I want to do this and do that, but it's just the effort and the push and the motivation to do it. And I think through, you know, later in life, you know, and the stuff that you know, like, you know, when you go through stuff, it pushes you to either become that leader you want to be or, you know, just that leader that you talk about wanting to be. So I think like most men when they're younger, you know what I'm saying, we still finding ourselves, we still trying to, you know, see what we want to do in life and just finding who we are and stuff. But I think most men are not good leaders till later in life until they experience certain things. So that's just my experience. Speaking in the comments, you can say I'm wrong, you can say I'm right. That's your opinion, but that's just how I feel.
mhm.
What you think about that, Bear?
I can't find a place where I could disagree with you, man. That's facts, and if you ask me, it depends on. It depends. So many things shape us as far as being leaders are concerned, and at that same point, there are just some people out there who just aren't leaders. Not everybody can be, the chief. Everybody, there's got to be some people who are just, the citizens, the followers. But I think what brings on leadership though is, like you said, the example. You have to see the example, and you also have to have the drive to want to make change, the willingness to want to make change, the imagination to want to make change. Because, like, let's use Dr. Martin Luther King for example. He could have been somebody who would have been a great leader, but at the same time, what if he did not, feel comfortable going out there to wanting to make that change? And he would have been just like, oh, he's a great preacher, and that's all they. We never would have known anything about him, because I mean, you could find a great preacher anywhere sprinkled across America,
Mhm.
but at the same time, nobody's stepping up to to lead the citizens, the people. He got the entirety of the black community, and let's just be real, some white folk out there to follow behind this man. So I mean, to be able to have that desire and that imagination of how to push through to be that leader, to how to grab these people, uh, that's what you have to have, and not everybody is built like that. So so to be able to have to say that, oh, well, you're not a leader in your community. Well, that's not everybody is built that way. Not everybody can do that. Now you can be a leader in your home. That's
Mhm.
I don't know if that's what the person was asking about. If they can be a leader in your home, absolutely.
Yeah.
You just have to be able to you have to be able to understand that you'll have to take control in some situations, and the people in your home have to be able to respect you. And the only way you can get that respect is if you are also, one, giving that respect, and two, being a respectful individual, because you can't get respect without, one, giving respect and, being, like I said, being respectful. um, it's almost like it's like trust. You can't gain trust if you're not a trustworthy individual.
Yeah,
So
you know what? I think it's a blessing because, like I said, like young men, like when I got with my wife, like when we first got together, I don't think I was a good leader in a relationship. I didn't
mhm,
like I
probably
had
not.
like
We all had that
like
struggle.
you know what I'm saying, like we was like getting to know each other, and we was like we was like bonding and stuff, and then it got to a point where I was saying like, man, like I could see us together, you know, n- I'm not gonna say as far as marriage, but I could see us together, you know what I'm saying, doing things. So it made me want to, like step up, and
Hmm.
and be a
Hmm.
provider and and have certain things, like I wanted to have certain things and I wanted her to have it too. Like, and what I'm saying, I feel like as I got older and um having her by our side, it just made me want to be more of a leader, you know what I'm saying? Like when I went back to school for, like to have a better career in life and stuff like that. But the motivation was because
Was
of
her.
her and my family, like
Yeah.
I wanted to provide more. I wanted to have them comfortable. And, and to me, to be honest with you, I think it's a blessing because I don't see a lot of guys doing that. You know what I'm saying? As far
Hmm.
as like sacrificing, I see a lot of selfishness out there. But
Yeah.
as far as like sacrificing, because you got to sacrifice some nights you might want to go hang out, or you might want to go to Buffalo Wild Wings with your homies or whatever. But you got to sacrifice those nights for work, for school, for your family. And I think that's, I think that's part of becoming a great leader. You know what I'm saying? You got to sacrifice some things for what you really want. And I think
Yeah.
a lot of people, I'm not gonna say a lot of people, but they got some people out there that's not willing to do that sacrificing as far as to become the leader that they want to be. So, I
Well,
mean, it is what it
I
is.
think you might have been right when you did kind of lean towards a lot of people, because I mean, I think that's part of the reason why we have so many fatherless homes, and we know we have far too many of those in the first place. So yeah, I think you're right as far as being a lot of people. Don't pull back on that one.
Yeah, Trina, you got anything you wanted to implement on this before we jump into Something that you're gonna specialize in this next topic.
Uh-oh.
I mean, no, I don't really want to like speak. I don't really feel like I have room to speak on this topic as much. Except, I mean, I'm being honest because
No, for real though.
I can say
Yeah.
something. I don't want to be disrespectful because obviously you guys both are men first of all, and you seem to be pretty upstanding citizens. Y'all sound family oriented. I know y'all both are fathers based on context clues and things like that. So that means you guys have had some experiences that you are saying that you grew out of that helped you to become a better leader. So then I come in and be like, well, it's like
Yeah, well, you
so
spelled it wrong.
so I'm gonna say, what
Mix up.
helped me to quickly agree is the word most. You didn't say all. Experience does teach us. So
Okay, so for sure. Um, Now I dove into this question before, maybe a few topics ago. I mean, a few episodes ago, but we didn't dive in deep. And they had a female, and she really wanted us to dive in deep on this discussion, but I felt that we didn't have as far as the credentials to dive into deep how she wanted to. So hopefully if she's watching the show, it was ways to deal with your partner going through depression.
Mm.
And
oh,
so
okay.
what
Yeah, this is
ways
definitely something that TR can get on at this
yeah,
one.
what ways to deal with your partner going through depression? Like how can you help your partner if they're going through depression, if they're sad, or how can you help your partner go through, depression?
Hmm. Well, first and foremost, what I would say is I would be interested in what y'all had to say anyway. Because like it's important that for lack of a better word, that regular people actually understand that you actually know a lot more than you think you know. So it's not this big magical answer. What do you do for people that you care about? You know what I'm saying? You're there for them. So that's a big part of it. And I would think that that would come up for y'all, but it's about how to be there for them. So I think that's
Mm-hmm.
the part, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the thing about it is the way that you would deal with your partner is going to be very similar to the way you would deal with it with anyone. You know what I'm saying? And yes, there are levels to it. So if it was a stranger that you might just, kind of help connect them with someone. If it's a friend, maybe cousin or something, then you may actually, do a little bit more. But if it's your partner, you might do a little bit more. So one thing I will say when it comes to depression is like many other things, you need to respect it. That's the first thing. If you don't respect the fact that the person's dealing with it, if it's
Mm-hmm.
one of the things where you're like, get over it, that you may think
Mm.
you're encouraging
Mm.
them, but you're not. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, if a person could just get over it, then they would. If you're really
Basically.
dealing with this, it's not cool, it's not fun. So if I could just get over it, I would. And the other part of it is like it really minimizes their experience. So then whatever help you do decide to bring about later or whatever is gonna be hard for them to trust it because of that approach. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't
Yeah.
take it
Hmm.
seriously. It's better to err on the side of caution, which means it's better to accept that this person knows what their private experience is versus you telling them that it's not. And for you to be potentially wrong for agreeing than for them to really truly be going through this and you dismiss it. You know what I'm
Hmm.
Yeah,
saying?
I think that's the worst thing right
Hmm.
there.
And but,
Right.
but we don't
Absolutely.
necessarily think about it that way because I have to respect the idea of depression and mental health first before I can respect that that's something you're experiencing. If I don't believe in all of that, that's how we kind of dismiss stuff. Ain't nobody
Hmm.
Hmm.
listen. That's not even real. What's real is these bills. What's real is this is like, yeah,
Man,
sometimes
bills
these
don't stop.
bills are what are a part of the issue.
Right.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
financial situations can bring on depression.
Yeah, and so it's like they're
Yeah.
they're they're not. You don't have to delete any of them. I like to tell people, we think the truth looks like this. It looks like this. It really does.
Hmm.
If you think the truth looks like this, then any extra details that are a part of that situation have to be deleted because it doesn't fit this. When there are so many different dynamics and elements that are playing in a situation, and it all needs to be respected,
Yeah.
all of it. So
So
you
Yeah.
have to accept that, because sometimes I'm honestly, don't take it personally.
Right.
It's
I,
not about
Absolutely.
you. That stops
Absolutely.
people from helping people because I'm too busy defending myself against your pain, like, or your sickness. It's like you're not the reason. And if you think you are because of stuff that you're doing, then that's a whole nother battle for you to deal with on your own. But the
Oh my
fact is,
goodness.
that's their private experience and that's what they're dealing with. The last thing we need is for you to be taking it personally because now you're going to be on the defense and you can't help that person or be there for that person when you're too busy defending yourself against it because you feel some type of way about their experience.
Hmm.
You
yeah,
know,
I think, and I might be wrong for this, but if I had a friend going through depression, me personally, I would try to be there for him as much as I can. Like, I'll like come over there and be like, look, let's talk. You don't want to talk? Or what do you want to eat? Bring something to eat. Let's talk. Let's have
Hmm.
drinks. Just to try to get them to talk. Now they might not want to talk, and I'll be like, well, I'm finna just chill, take a nap or something, and wake up. And if you ready to talk, we could talk or something like that. I think it's just the effort, the showing that somebody cares for them and cares about that situation. Because a lot of times people think like they don't care. Like, man, ain't nobody care about me, man. They don't care how I feel. They don't care what I think or whatever. And I see a
Dude.
lot. I'm starting to see a lot of people on Facebook post like they're giving up on life in
Yeah.
general and stuff like that more days and more
Yeah.
so ever now. And I think they're just pouring out for people to conversate, to talk to somebody that
I
cares
think
about them. I think they just want somebody to listen to them.
I was about to say that I think a lot of it is, and I've commented on this a couple of times before on posts and everything. It's just the fact that being there is such a strong recovery process for somebody. I mean, a strong help. If you want to just help somebody, sometimes just being there and just let them vent, let them vent, let them cry, let them be vulnerable in front of you.
Mm,
That could be so healing for a lot of people. I mean, because I went through my little bout of depression at one point.
mm,
And I say little bout, but I don't mean I don't, and I try to belittle it,
yeah, for sure.
but I went through my bout of depression at one point, and just having somebody there to just, like I said, just be there for me, just let me vent, let me cry, let me be vulnerable about my situation. That was huge, and because it's trying to hit back on what you said earlier. I had so many people, and it's reason why that all of a sudden my friend group went from like I got off of Instagram for a minute. Floyd, I don't know if you remember that, but I got off of Instagram for a minute for about a year, and I
Hmm.
had I had well
Yeah.
over 1,000 friends, and they were all people that I actually had some form of contact with. And like I said, when I got off and I got back on, which was just like I said about it recently, I got back on, and I said, I'm not going to have this huge friend group, and this literally, and it's not even just like a social media thing. I'm just talking about as just in life, period, just a comparative reasons. I went from over 1,000 to like just over 100. I
Hmm.
mean, my circle is extremely small, and literally my actual circle is probably about less than a dozen. But because the thing is, I had so many people when I was going through my depression. Oh, dude, you're being petty, you're being overreactive. It's not a big deal. Just get over it. Just be a man, man up, all this type of
No.
stuff. And I'm
Mm,
like, and I'm like, why are y'all personally attacking me when I'm going through this? And that's exactly what it was. It was a personal attack. It's like they took it personally that I'm going through something. And it made no sense to me until once I was going through therapy. My therapist, shout out to her. She was saying the kind of the exact same things that you were saying, T, about people sometimes for some reason they don't know how to reach out. They don't know how to help. So what they do is they just attack you. And it's because I'm used to being this upbeat, fun-loving guy all the time. And they weren't used to seeing me down because I'm usually the one who's always I've always been the guy who's been hiding myself to
yeah.
make sure that everybody else is taken care of and everybody else is accommodated because I'm a people pleaser. That's just how I am. That's how I'm built. Uh, but I've learned how to control that now. I've learned how to be better at pleasing people without being detrimental to my own self. But I say all that just to say that, like you're saying, just being if you're with ways to deal with your partner going through depression, the best thing you can do is just be there for the person, understand what they're going through is real. Just because it's not tangible for you, like bills, doesn't mean it's not a real thing. Let them be vulnerable.
Mhm.
And if you let them be vulnerable in front of you, that opens up a world of trust.
I'm not even gonna lie to you, Barry. I went through a stint of depression too, and what helped me was actually working out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like working, like going
yeah.
jogging,
Going to the
going
jog,
walking.
yeah. Going to the gym,
Yep. It just helped me release,
yeah.
like what I was going through. Now I did a lot of self searching. I did a lot of talking to myself. You know what I'm saying? As far as
Hmm.
I had to become my own motivator, to be honest with you, because I remember like just jogging and just telling myself, you know what I'm saying, just basically motivating myself. I had to be my own motivator. And I don't know if that's natural or not, you know what I'm saying? But I had to do that, and I had to, I had to keep faith that what I was going through at that particular time was gonna make me stronger. Like
Yeah.
I was gonna get stronger from this.
Like you
And
got this.
yeah, and I had to tell
Yeah.
myself that. And at the beginning, at first, like the first, week, couple days or whatever, I didn't have that, you know what I'm saying? But, that helped me as far as like depression. Everybody have their own ways to deal and cope with it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like you said, like as far as like your circle is small, my circle is like smaller, like not to include family, but I'm just gonna say like as far as family and friends, like if I have somebody to really like just talk to, you know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
it's maybe like four people, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. It's maybe
Absolutely.
four, five is a stretch,
Yeah.
but let's just say 4 or 5 people, and other than that, man, it's just me. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's really you. So,
Hmm.
but I mean, and not to just to let y'all time in, but like if my partner or if somebody I knew that was going through depression, I would talk to him and I would say, "Hey, man, you want to go to therapy, counseling? I'll go with you. I'll go
Hmm.
with you. Let's go together. You don't have to go
Yeah.
by yourself. You know what I'm saying?" And I'll just try to be with them from every walk or whatever they're going through, side by side, for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, like
Excuse me.
I think a couple of things, bless you, that is also important. Just kind of like to finish up on what you can do. Um, the thing is, okay, so first of all, trust that the person is expressing to you their truth. Don't try to
Hmm.
like, disseminate or figure it out. Because the thing is, we have this ideal of what depression looks like too.
Hmm.
And see, the person that's always, funny and seems outgoing and all that you work with and stuff, sometimes is actually depressed too.
Yeah.
So we think that it's supposed to look a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the issue
Hmm.
with us as human beings, because seeing is believing. So, a lot of times, unfortunately, if a person is not harming themselves in a physical way, or they're not literally, you know, in the act of trying to complete suicide, then we don't believe it. There are some
Yeah.
people, it was a recent story of a young lady that actually did post this. It was her last day, and it was. She
Yep.
Mm.
absolutely did
And,
take her life, and she was a mother,
and we
Uh,
see, and I see posts like that, and I
you
think a
know.
yeah.
lot a lot of people don't take them serious.
And so that's what I mean by error on the side of caution.
Yeah.
I understand everybody like, oh, they just want attention, but what if
Mm-hmm.
that's not what it is?
Yep.
You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? What if it is fine? Because the way I see it, if a person does that, from my perspective, something is still wrong. There is an
Absolutely.
issue there. There is a need that's not being met, even if you feel like they playing you play too much, you crying wolf, and there's something up regardless. And if that little bit of attention is gonna keep them alive, it may be frustrating, annoying, all of that, but the fact is something is up with that person because you still are playing that game. But the
Yo.
fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, when we're talking about your partner, respect their private experience, be present, listen, because everybody doesn't need the same thing. Some people do
Hmm.
want to vent. Some people just want you to sit there with them and be quiet. A lot of us
Yeah.
are not comfortable with silence. We feel like we have to have something to say.
That's
Hmm.
You
that
know,
question right there is for you, Trina. Would you recommend believing in a higher power as a therapist to help someone get through depression? Because it definitely helped me.
So I don't promote or discourage, because I think that at the end of the day, um, when it comes to your higher power, your spiritual boundaries, your connection to a deity of some sort bigger than you, that's a very personal experience, and that hasn't been a saving grace for everybody. To be honest with you, some people's experiences in in certain lifestyles and certain religious lifestyles. I've had clients that had to go to therapy, extended therapy, for leaving a certain sector, of like a religious sector. And it was like one of those that was so intense. I'm not going to say the name of it, but it was so intense that it was really everything about their life was that particular belief system. And they had to actually go to extensive therapy because they left. And that wasn't even a therapy that we did together. So it really just depends on your relationship with said deity. It's like, if it's a saving grace for you, if that's a defense mechanism or a coping strategy for you, as a client, I would encourage you to embrace, incorporate, and lean on it. But if it's for clients that I have that has actually been an issue for them, see, they're not going to go there, and I don't push either way. You know what I'm saying? So it's really honestly about the impact that it has on you. If it saves you, if it helps you, then I'm going to promote it because it's healthy. And being connected to something bigger than you, something outside of yourself, has been proven to be beneficial, unless it isn't. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
My only thing I'd add to that is just that you just can't force belief.
mm,
If you believe, then you believe. If you don't believe, then you can't. Like I said, you just can't force belief. Just like you can't force love or anything of that nature. So you can't. If that, you have to be open to belief. And like I say, you just can't force it, because if you force it, then what if that fails you later on down in life? Then you're like, okay, well, that doesn't work, or what am I going to do now? So you, so that's why I'm just that's the only little 2 cents I'm going to add to that. But
Yeah, and Trina,
to
being
T,
a
I agree
therapist, you
everything you
can't
just
you
said.
can't you can't force religion on nobody, right? I mean,
well,
that's
any beliefs though. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not really just religious. Any beliefs is like you can't really force them on people, so you have to really be mindful of that. And then it was something like, okay, so with your partner, be honest with you, that's the other thing. And I would say this with your partner, with your friend, or whatever. And some people may try to attack me for this. That's fine. I'm a big girl.
okay.
Please do not tell people they just need to pray about it. Stop doing that to people.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
That
I
can be
always
the
say that.
absolutely.
beginning for some people, okay? Because prayer, yes, I understand in Christian context, but there are many different versions of prayer. So we're not even trying to alienate any particular religious beliefs by any means. But I really think it's very dismissive and disrespectful when you tell someone that, because even if you are thinking in the context of what the Christian beliefs are when it comes to faith, I've always been taught that faith is an action word. So the fact of the matter is, just telling the person just to pray about it. You know what happens when a person prays in the midst of that, and then they feel like nothing has happened? That
Mm,
lets a person down so much, because
mm,
sometimes that's like literally what they felt like was their last resort. And you basically
Hmm.
just told them that. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, just please be mindful of that, because at the end, you have people in these vulnerable positions. And when you say things like that, you're not helping them. That's very insensitive, right? And it can actually cause more harm than help. And no, I'm not going to condone alcoholism or say that it's a good thing. Alcoholism tends to be very detrimental. However, I will say that alcoholism it typically develops. Sometimes there are some genetic dispositions, right?
Hmm.
To you're more prone to become dependent upon certain substances, but also with choices and whatnot. If I am going through something, if I am overwhelmed by negative emotions and alcohol numbs me, then now I realize that worked for me. So now every time I'm running away from my emotions, I'll turn to that because it worked for me. And it did work. It's just that the unhealthiness of that coping strategy is that there are other things that are happening in the background. So while you're numbing these feelings, your body is getting biologically dependent upon this substance. So now after the fact, even if you get out of that situation, you are still now dependent, and you have a new situation that you're dealing with. So that's the issue.
mm.
But whenever you're dealing with anything and you find a coping strategy, whether it's healthy or not, the hope is that you're able to find something to replace it, either when it no longer works or it is unhealthy, because if not, you will resort back to what you know. So it's like I need to find out what is alcoholism solving for me. What am I utilizing alcohol for, and find something else that I can do that will relieve me in the same way. So if I'm looking for peace, what else can bring me peace? If I'm looking for, happiness, what else can I do to help me with this versus the alcohol?
And Alina,
Going okay.
and Alina,
No, you're not
um,
silly for that. You're fine.
yeah, and what you can do also is you can kind of direct that person to Trina, and you know what I'm saying, for some sessions, for some counseling, and maybe you could get an info, and you maybe get the person that you're talking about, you know what I'm saying, can reach out to Trina or vice versa, however that works, and then maybe we can help them out or whatever. So because she does do social via social.
Hmm.
Oh, what you saying, like that they can catch up with me via social media?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
social media, but like the
Oh, you talking about
sessions.
virtual?
Yeah, virtual. My bad.
Yeah,
There you
okay,
go.
yeah. Yeah, I
Excuse
do
me.
teletherapy and in person.
Yeah, so hey, there you go, right there, Nalina, and you can help him out or she out or whoever it is and stuff
Hey,
like that.
going
Barry,
through
what you
that,
was gonna say?
going back to that prayer comment, like you were saying, T, I'm devout Christian. I'm heavy on God and
Hmm.
religion and
Mm,
things of that nature. And I,
there we
but
go.
at the same time, I fully feel you on that. Just saying or just pray about it thing, because if number one, it kind of goes back to again, everything just comes back to communication. You have to know this individual. You can't just tell. I can't just tell somebody, "Oh, just pray about it." Well, that person might be an atheist, or or just say, "Oh, just pray to God about it." Well, that guy might not pray to God. He may pray to Allah,
Yeah,
or he might be
yeah,
Bindu
true.
or something. I mean Hindu or something. So, I mean, you can't just just
I,
just
you
just
said I got a homeboy.
casually throw prayer on it, because some people don't understand the power of prayer, and some people don't understand God's timing. So you can't just say that, like you say, you just can't arbitrarily just throw that on somebody, just expect that to be the cure all. And like I said, I just wanted to just let you know how much I agree with you on that, because it's not saying like you don't respect the Christian religion. It's not saying that. It's just saying the fact that you have to know your audience whenever you're talking to an individual. If you're going to
Hmm.
recommend something that you know that they're actually going to understand, because not everybody knows that. Because prayer helped me out, just
Hmm.
like Ms. Winston was saying, prayer helped her out. And prayer can help out some people, but it doesn't mean it's going to help out all people, because again, if you don't believe, why would you pray to somebody you don't believe in?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's a huge thing right there. You just have to know who you're talking to when you're going to try to recommend anything to them or try to help them out through anything.
Well, the issue is, first and foremost, the word just. I think that's my biggest issue because they say just pray about it. You
Oh
can
yeah,
you
yeah.
can suggest
You
prayer,
have to pray, and you have to pray,
but
but you
what
have to
else?
act upon it as well.
Yeah, and
There's
I'm not
there's,
even
there's
saying
still an action that needs to be taken care of.
exactly, and I'm not saying even that they have to go into preach mode, on that. I mean, my
Right.
dad's a minister, so I totally understand all of that. What I'm saying is that when you tell a person you just need to pray about it, first of all, you don't know if they've not already been praying. That's the other
That
thing.
too. That
You know what I'm
too.
saying? So that's the
Yeah.
thing. And then the other part is a big part of prayer is belief, if not the whole entire thing is belief.
Yeah.
So if I'm having a hard time believing right now, that's not going to help me either. And some people
No.
honestly do not feel confident in praying because they don't think they know how to pray.
Mm.
Some people
That's
know
the
that you,
thing.
yeah, they think that it's a certain way, and many would,
Yeah.
would would say that there is a certain way. Some people would argue that. So if you tell me this, now you're basically, it's just like the same thing as if I was to tell you, okay, so what you need to do is you need to start employing wise mind, and you're like, what is that? I gotta teach you what that means.
Mm.
You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And so it's like you say that, but how you know that person is equipped with that? You might offend them. What if the object, the person that they're having issues with, one of the stresses they're dealing with, happens to be a person that always uses that against them as well? So now you're
Mm.
saying that. So it's like I'm saying you
Now you're
just
doubling
don't
down.
know. We can do possibilities all day of what could be and what couldn't. But a big part of prayer is belief. So if it did work for you, it's because you believed in it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's like do what works for you. Because I guarantee you that most people who say that they prayed, they didn't pray and just sit stagnant in that spot. When he
Hmm.
says wait, he doesn't mean don't move, become dormant and unproductive. It means let me handle
Yes.
this
Mm.
and go ahead
Yeah.
and do what you do and take care of what you're supposed to be taking care of while I take care of this. That's a difference.
Absolutely.
An action word. You
Absolutely.
feel me? So
For
like I
sure.
said, I'm not disrespecting. I just think that sometimes that's what people throw at people. So, at the end of the day, it is not the atheists typically that'll be offended by that because they don't care about that. It's the people that actually know what prayer is, they know where you're coming from, that actually might be offended more because of the things that we just mentioned.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like people throw that at people out of judgment a lot of times. It's actually more
Right.
punitive. It's not a,
Right.
hey, my brother and sister, let's pray or pray about it. It's work for me. It's more like a tone
It's a
of
low key
you must
attack.
not been praying, because if you was praying, you just need to pray about it. It's like, you don't even know if I've been doing that already, but I can
Hmm.
Yeah.
see you
Yeah.
think I haven't. Obviously, you must think that I didn't think of that. Thank
Exactly.
you. It's like,
You're
if
right.
I
It's a low
believe
key
in
attack sometimes. Some people be like that.
but if I believe in that, then I might have probably thought of that, probably. But the fact that you're saying that lets me know that you don't think I did. So it's sometimes it just seems like
Exactly.
punishment or
That's
judgment when they
levels.
say it and not necessarily suggestive, you know.
For sure, for sure. And
That's for sure.
man, I hate to say it, but unfortunately, man, we've been going at it for an hour and 30 minutes and some.
Really?
Yeah, some, the
Oh,
conversation just
dang.
be going. But man, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to say, I thank y'all for coming on the show on a Friday, like always. I thank you, Trina. You're doing a lot of big things. You got a lot of big events coming up. You know what I'm saying? You're blowing up for sure. You low key like becoming like the number one therapist, like
Oh, don't put that pressure. Jesus.
All right. There
Because
you
I
go.
in
look
the
at my
area.
shoulders. I'm like,
Yeah,
nah,
I'm
it's
telling
so
you,
many people out there.
It's like
Lord,
she
that?
hang
becoming
on,
she
because
becoming like a celebrity therapist,
What?
man, like a counselor, dog, for
Oh,
real, in
dang. I
the
know a
area.
celebrity, y'all.
Dog, any of the event, if they need
he's
somebody,
very motivating, and he know we talk often. I appreciate his encouragement, but nah, and I don't ever even want that. I'll be honest with you. You know what I
what's
mean?
that? What's the event you got coming up? Is it on the 27th?
No, it's on 21st. So April the 21st. There is a gala, the Shine Your Light Gala. Miss Nikki Relford, I would say, is pretty much over all of that. There is a new facility that will be open for with inpatient beds for our kids and adolescents. So I'm excited about it because working in crisis is many a times where we needed a bed for a kid and we didn't have any in our area. So we would have
Yeah.
to send them out of the area. That means the guardian has to travel with them out of the area. So you imagine how many kids went without
Mm-hmm.
treatment because we can go into all that, but parents don't always have the ability to leave town to bring
Right.
you to get you checked in. It's just a whole process, especially with other kids and transportation. So it's a lot of times you found kids that didn't really get the help that they needed because there was no beds and there was no way to send them out of the area. And so this
Hmm.
facility will be for handling those situations. I love that it will keep our kids in our community. It will keep, practically speaking, our finances, our funding in our community, because we're sending people out and
Facts.
that money is going to their community to help them. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So that's taken away from our community in a fiscal perspective. So this is to fund some of the things that's needed to get that up and going. And so I will be speaking along with other people at said gala. And so if you have any questions, I say Nikki Relford has like all of the links and everything on her page. I have them on my page. A lot of us have been sharing it. So if you want to, see who's speaking, find out any information about how to get tickets, they actually have tables as well. Then you can go to her page or my page and look at the flyer and find out that information. But yeah, that'll be April the 21st. So I am excited about
For
that.
sure, for sure, for sure. Bear, what you got coming up, man?
Well, like I said earlier, man, just with the podcast, just bear with me podcast. Yes, I got the name right this time. I'm not trying to take
Yes.
over. Uh, just bear with me podcast. It's on every platform that you can find or listen to podcasts. And like I said, we're coming up on within the next month or so, I'm going to be on YouTube and start doing these things with video, kind of like I'm following in the steps of my boy Floyd here. May not be
Yeah,
doing it live, but we'll be having some videos of it. Probably
for
put
sure.
some content, more content on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram at just bear with me underscore podcast. And yeah, that's pretty much what's going on right now.
She said the gentleman on the panel is very articulate and helpful as well. Is he a therapist too? No,
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. But thank you. I appreciate
so
that.
that's what's up. Hey,
Oh,
yes, go
Floyd.
ahead.
What's up?
So you remember we were talking about, because I see that Miss Winston, she dropped a few more questions. So we were supposed to get together, and it's been on me. I'm gonna take
Yes,
full responsibility for that because just so much has been going on.
yeah.
But we are supposed to get together and have just the open forum mental
Mhm,
health chat. It will
mhm.
not be therapy, guys, and I will continue to say that because I don't want y'all to feel like it's that it would be unethical for us to have a whole therapy open forum session like that. But it will be a discussion, and part of what we're asking that you guys do is to do exactly what Miss Winston did and drop questions in the comments, and we'll address them as they come in. And so that's something that me and Floyd have been working on. Well, he's
Yes.
open to it. I have just been super
Definitely
busy,
open
but
to it.
we are going to do that. So
She's
if
a
you had
celebrity.
any questions that we didn't answer,
Mhm.
or if there are any questions that you wanted to ask that you didn't ask, we can address them then. So you can either shoot them to Mr. Floyd. I'm telling him you can shoot them to Floyd,
Yeah,
or
you
you
can.
can
Yeah,
send
you
them
can
to
just
me.
inbox me for sure.
Yes, and then we'll do it like that. But that's something that we are working on, and I am
Yeah,
going to get
it's
with
gonna
him.
be very dope. Okay.
And make sure you write your questions down now while you're thinking about it, because I'm pretty sure there'll be times when that day comes that you'll have a question, be like, dang, what was I thinking about that day? So make sure you write those questions down right now so that you'll be ready for it by the time
My
that comes
boy,
around.
already, man. Hey, man, I appreciate y'all coming on, man. Chilling with your boy, man.
For sure, man. Appreciate you having us on, brother.
All right, man. Y'all have a
Always.
great weekend. Y'all have a good Easter. You know what I'm saying? I'll see
Thank you,
y'all
sir.
again.
For sure. Bye,
Salute.
y'all.
All
Mhm.
right. All right. So look, man, that was the show, man. That was the show. We had a great, dope conversation. We talked about, is it more fun being single? We talked about divorce. We talked about therapy. We talking about our men being less romantic nowadays. And we talked about, like as far as, prayer and stuff like that. So, what I'm saying? We dove into various different topics and stuff. A very dope show, man. I appreciate everybody for tapping in, man. Y'all see the flag in the back. Y'all see the flag in the back there? Do y'all know what flag that is back there? You know what I'm saying? Hey, if y'all know what flag that is back there, I'll give you $1,000. Now I'm just messing with you. Hey, but I appreciate everybody that's been chiming in the show. I appreciate you, Miss Winston. You talking about your sister. I want to know who you talking about. Because we know each other very well as far as family. So I want to know who you're talking about. If that's who I think you're talking about. Um, but anyway, man, I appreciate everybody for tapping into the show, man, commenting and stuff like that. We always love it when y'all comment, when y'all ask questions, and y'all do y'all damn thing. Tomorrow, hopefully Saturday, around the same time, uh, 8 p.m. We go on Facebook Live again. You know what I'm saying? This time it's gonna be a little light. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna chill. We're gonna kick back because this is the kickback, and we're gonna have a great time and stuff like that. So please join me tomorrow. We're gonna come back again. It's gonna be so dope. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be grateful. It's gonna be blessings. It's gonna be good, man. Oh, my boy already, my boy Bear, man. You see what it is, bro. You know what I'm saying? This is our flag, you know what I'm saying, for sure. But we're gonna have a good time Saturday. It's just gonna be a regular Facebook Live, you know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be a podcast setting. So um, like I said, man, come through with your boy, chop it up. Also, you can follow me on IG. You know what I'm saying? The IG is popping, so follow me on IG or whatever. But man, like I said, I know you're not in name dropping. I don't want you to name drop on here anyway. Um, but I mean, I might post a picture of the flag or whatever on the page or whatever so you can see. But it's the Juneteenth flag. Uh, but anyway, like I said, man, we're gonna be rocking out tomorrow. Also, we're gonna be rocking out next Friday again, episode 132. I don't know what that's gonna be called or whatever, but it's gonna be more content, dope content, and also it's dope content on the IG. So So follow me on IG if y'all want to do all that too, man. And like I said, man, y'all have a blessed weekend, man. Y'all be safe out there. Y'all turn up. Y'all have fun. Y'all be grateful. Y'all do all those things. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Hey, Stacy, she from the North End for sure. And I like what you did. You trying to name the building after her. I think that's very deserving of her, man. For sure. I'm feeling that. I think that was a great, thoughtful idea of you, my brother, for sure. 6 p.m. Downtown. Yeah, I ain't doing nothing, man. I got to do a few movies, but I'm gonna try to not. I got a few acting roles that I got to knock out. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna try to knock that out early so I could come through, chop it up with you, man. You doing great things in the community, Stacy. I'm proud of you, bro. Keep doing what you're doing, man. You're definitely inspiration. Ironton, okay, okay. Ironton and Pine Club for sure on everything. Okay, all right, yeah, I knew, yeah, 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 for sure, bro. We go. I'm gonna have to slide through. Real talk. Okay, yeah, yeah, we go. Yeah, 6 p.m. for sure. Downtown is going down, man. But like I said, man, I appreciate everybody for rocking out with your boy. Uh, expect me to go live Saturday, tomorrow, and also next Friday again. So, man, like I said, y'all have a blessed weekend. Y'all be safe out there. Stay blessed and always stay 100. All right. Peace.